6:30 p.m. Our mission is to provide a safe and caring climate and culture in which we engage, inspire, educate, prepare, and empower all learners in partnership with their surrounding community to be successful in today's and tomorrow's society. Zach, can you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And then Zach, can you please call roll?
The following board members are present at the District Administration Office. Scott Andreessen.
Here.
Natalie Copeland.
Here.
Al Dahlgren.
Here.
Zach Dorholt is here. Shannon Haas. Here. Monica Segura-Schwartz. Here. Heather Weems.
Here.
And the following cabinet members and staff are present at the District Administration Office. Superintendent Dr. Lori Putnam, Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Education Dr. Jason Harris, Assistant Superintendent of PK5 Education Nikki Hansen, Assistant Superintendent of E12 Education Services Dr. Mike Rivard, Executive Director of Community Education Adam Holm, Executive Director of Finance and Business Services Amy Scalrud, Executive Director of Human Resources and Labor Relations Tracy Flynn Bowe, Executive Director of Operations Gary Ganji, Executive Director of Research, Enrollment, and Assessments Don Roper, Media Technicians Paul Novak and Gordy Scott, and Custodian on site is Evan Voss.
Thank you. Then I'm looking for a motion to approve tonight's Board of Education meeting agenda.
So move.
And do I have a second? Let's go, motion by Scott, and, sorry, can I bounce over here for a second? You guys came in at the same time.
Sure.
And a second by Monica. Zach, can you call vote?
Zach Dorholz, yes. Al Dahlgren.
Yes.
Natalie Copeland.
Yes.
Scott Andreessen.
Yes.
Heather Weems.
Yes.
Monica Segura-Schwartz.
Yes.
Shannon Haas.
Yes. Thank you. Then we have the consent. Consists of non-controversial items that the board adopts routinely without debate. Any single member may remove an item from the consent agenda by requesting removal at the time the consent agenda is moved for adoption. On tonight's consent agenda, item A, approval of minutes from March 13th, 2024 and March 20th, 2024. Item B, approval of bills and other financial transactions in the grand total amount of $2,355,629.19. Item C, approval of personnel staff changes. Item D, acceptance of grant awards and donations. Item E, quarterly expenditures for board members. Item F, Discovery HVAC change order totaling $5,617. Item G, Oak Hill HVAC change order totaling $5,617. And item H, Apollo LTFM improvement change orders totaling $17,313.20. At this time, does any board member wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Okay, then I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
So move.
And do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Scott, a second by Heather. Zach, can you call vote again?
Monica Segura-Schwartz.
Yes.
Heather Weems.
Yes.
Scott Andreessen.
Yes.
Natalie Copeland.
Yes.
Al Dahlgren.
Yes.
Zach Dorholz, yes. Shannon Haas.
Yes. All right, thank you. Moving on to informational items. Tonight, we have Discovery School presentation presented by Discovery's principal, Jenny Holm. Welcome.
Good evening, Chairperson Haas, School Board, and Superintendent Putnam. I'm excited to share the incredible world of Discovery Community School. My name is Jenny Holm, proud principal of Discovery. I want to share a glimpse into our school before I present our continuous improvement plan focus objectives.
In a school where students feel confident being their authentic selves.
Magacayga waxaa weeye Mustafa waxaan ka imaaday Somali. My name is Mustafa and my mom came from Somali.
Hola, mi nombre es Ashley. Mi familia es de Nicaragua. Hi, my name is Ashley. My family is from Nicaragua.
Assalamu alaikum, اسمي عبدالعزيز وعائلتي من السعودية. Hello, my name is Abdulaziz and my parents are from Saudi Arabia.
An EL class is a class specifically designed for our English learners. So in kindergarten, I push into 2 of our kindergarten classrooms where we have a focus on our language block. We teach the core together, and then we meet with students in a small group instruction where they get individualized instruction based on what their needs are. Through English classes, I imagine seeing my students in their homerooms being successful at grade level content and overcoming any language barriers there may be.
Nia Emmanuel and Awal in Ethiopia. Hello, my name is Emmanuel and I was born in Ethiopia. My family's from Africa. I speak Inuit.
我的名字叫黄子鹏，我的家来自中国。Hi, my name is 子鹏 I am from China.
你好，我叫黄子妍，我来自中国。Hi, my name is Tia. I am from China.
Hello, nama aku Aaron dan aku dari Indonesia. Hello, my name is Aaron and I'm from Indonesia.
Halo, nama aku Kinan dan aku dari Indonesia.
Dan keluarga kita juga dari Indonesia.
Hello, my name is Kinan and I'm from Indonesia and our family is from Indonesia.
I'm an EEOC Educational Equity Educational Outreach Coordinator. I help the families and students with any educational component that they might be struggling with. I imagine my role as that of helping navigate that system. A lot of them are new to country or new to our district, helping them feel welcome and letting them know that there's somebody here that can help them understand the system.
Imagine a strong bridge between school, family, and community that promotes social emotional awareness and behavioral development education, all while future success. This is what Discovery Family Engagement strives for. One of the things that we really have implemented at Discovery is Empower Learning. When we initially started it, it was an invite to families, and we kind of had to cap it at 30 to 40 because we would have 100 to 200 out of our 400 kids that would want to be able to come. And as we've been able to kind of figure out how we want to do this, we've been able to open it up more, and we have a lot of more community that comes to be able to support too. So we have great theater that comes to kind of work with the kids to be able to have them being busy, but something that's also meaningful while we pull the parents. And we've done everything from curriculum education with parents, as well as social emotional skills, what kind of discipline that we use at school or positive reinforcements we use at school too.
My name is Mulki, and my family is from Somalia.
Привіт, мене звати Єва, і я з України. Hello, my name is Eva and I'm from Ukraine.
Now, let's have everyone pause, put down what we're working on, take a moment to breathe so our brains are ready for learning. We'll take 4 deep breaths together with our breathing balls. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale.
Imagine a school where students are given the tools to calm and the staff have been trained to guide them in restoring relationships. We have Restorative Circle here at Discovery, and it's my very favorite part of my job, partly because Restorative Circle, we use a talking piece, so kids take turns talking. So it's when kids have an issue with each other, so I bring everybody who's got the problem around the table and we talk. But we promise not to talk about this once we leave.
Like when you get in a argument with this one person and another person is trying to settle it, so it can get all fixed and it can be friends again, and it kind of helps me be calm and forgive more people.
So we work through all their issues and they talk about it, and then at the end I always ask, okay, moving forward. Do you want to be a friend or do you want to coexist? And the kids almost always pick friendship, but sometimes they pick coexist. And they said, but maybe I'll be friends in a week. So the other person needs to prove themselves, which is great. Even as adults, we want to understand that we have a choice, and then always we ask, do you feel safe? The kids are amazing at this, and what's really fun is when you walk down the hall and all of a sudden I hear, no, wait, we don't agree. Come on, let's get together, let's take turns. Okay, you talk first. And they'll take turns and they'll work it out without us. And I'm like, there's some magic in restorative circles. I imagine that Discovery is much more welcoming and forgiving.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Imagine a school where students feel confident being their authentic selves. Discovery students have many different cultural backgrounds. Our school is a place where staff and students feel comfortable being themselves and celebrating their cross-cultural similarities and differences. We have created an environment that embraces all learners with both academics and social-emotional learning. Discovery's climate and culture is one of the many things that make us an amazing place to work and learn. When you visit Discovery, you will feel the welcoming and warm environment while walking around the building. Our students and staff treat each other like family. Our focus objectives for this year are integrating social-emotional learning supports and expanding opportunities for student voice. Some of the supports for students with social-emotional learning include morning meetings in every classroom, classroom safe spaces for students to take a break, breathing techniques school-wide during morning announcements, implementing restorative circles at a building-wide level, teaching our PBIS matrix, and social-emotional lessons by classroom teachers. We are prepared to support students who need extra social-emotional guidance. We have also worked hard to expand student voice throughout our school. In the upper left-hand corner, you can see Pizza with the Principal. Each month, every classroom has a Student of the Month. At the end of the month, these students come to have pizza with the principal. This is a time where I can talk and eat with our students in a casual setting. I listen to feedback from all the students. They give me advice, including things they would like to change and things that are going well. And I look forward to this every month. We have an active student council to ensure student voices are heard in a positive, productive way. They meet routinely to discuss current issues and brainstorm solutions for problems. They are student role models in our building for all students. In the upper right-hand corner, you will see a photo of our 5th grade kindness retreat. We partnered with Rocori Schools to practice the friendship and social skills needed to be successful in middle school. It is a fun day of learning and meeting new students. In the lower left and right corners, you see photos taken from our time with Dolphin Buddies. All of our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders pair up with our kindergarten, 1st, and 2nd graders to be a Dolphin Buddy. This takes place once a month to practice reading and do learning activities together. Both younger and older students benefit from this experience. We have also been implementing the use of student Google surveys. Students can give feedback on various topics. One example of this is our after-school enrichment. Instead of having the teachers choose which classes will be offered, we send out a Google survey to ask students what classes they would like to participate in. This has been a huge success. This spring, we are offering painting club, Lego club, crafts make and take, and basketball. Another focus area is instruction that produces positive outcomes. We ensure all instruction and programming are culturally relevant and engaging. We have used some of our Title I funds over the past few years to order culturally authentic books. We want our students to be able to see themselves in the literature that is offered. We use targeted interventions determined through MTSS team. MTSS is our multi-tiered systems of support. This is intentional, protected time for the team to meet with individual teachers to problem solve the best ways to support each individual student. At Discovery, we ensure students have access to grade level standards by using district programs and curriculum to support our students. Some of these include Letters Professional Development for all teachers supporting the science of reading, our new iReady math curriculum, phonics instruction in classrooms through Sunday and essential lessons, Lexia, and FastBridge. Our English language teachers spend time co-teaching in classrooms during core reading instruction. They also meet with students in small groups as needed to provide the language support before or after the lesson. Our EL teachers have done an outstanding job supporting our multilingual students to grow across every grade level. Discovery is fortunate to have a Somali immersion program for our kindergarten students that has over 20 students in our first year. I am excited for the opportunity to add FLES in first grade. FLES stands for Foreign Language in Elementary Schools. This is not an immersion program. This is integrating some of the Somali vocabulary and culture into our current curriculum instruction. Both are choices for families who want to participate in these programs. As you can see in the photos, we personalize learning based on the needs of our students. We encourage innovative thinking and teach many ways to solve a problem through our iReady curriculum as seen in the bottom two photos. Our next focus area is innovation. We strategically allocate resources to support our students at Discovery. We offer some of the same choices as other elementary schools, such as Knowledge Bowl, Young Scholars, Talent Development, District Spelling Bee, and Math Masters. At Discovery, we have 7 teachers who attended the Modern Classroom Virtual Mentorship Program and are using this in their learning spaces. Modern Classroom is a way to personalize learning. Students go at their own pace. They move on when they have mastered the concept. This is visible through interactive technology, flexible seating arrangements, and a layout conducive to collaboration and teamwork. We have integrated STEM labs 3 times a month to offer hands-on science enrichment for all students. We also offer school-wide enrichment through coding experiences, free after-school enrichment opportunities, lessons from our talent development teacher, and technology lessons taught by our media specialist. Using iReady math curriculum reinforces innovative thinking. We teach students there are many ways to think about a problem. The last focus area is family and community engagement. Our goal is to create school-based connections that bring Discovery together with our community. When families attend fall goal-setting conferences, we set aside time to ask them what they would like to see and learn throughout the year at Discovery. For us, this is to gather feedback, since every family has access to an interpreter at this time. We try to break down barriers for our families so they are involved and have a voice. Our EEOC and BCSS have been an integral part of our family engagement success and academic growth. We have 2 EEOCs, Educational Equity Outreach Coordinators, Spanish and Somali speaking. We have 1 BCSS, a bilingual communication support specialist who is Somali speaking. We also have a Spanish speaking family advocate. At Discovery, we have implemented Empower Learning. This is a family event where parents and students start in separate areas and then come together at the end to participate in learning activity together. This is also a time where we get to eat together. We are able to cover topics our families want to learn about. Some of these have included how to navigate Skyward and Seesaw, special education instruction and the process for that, and social emotional learning. Our teachers offer classroom family events during the school day also. Readers Theater has been a popular one. We have Cultural Night and STEAM Night at Discovery. STEAM Night, Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics, is coming up tomorrow, April 18th, from 4:30 to 6:30. Other family engagement events include Hoyo Hour. Hoyo means mother in Somali. This is a time for our Somali moms to come together and learn about literacy and the importance of family involvement. We also have our Week of Coding and our Earth Day celebration. It is important to offer different times of the day for parents to join our events. With the varied work schedules of our families, we want everyone to have a chance to attend at least one of our events. Language support is always available during our family events. We are fortunate to have many generous community partners. Great Theater provides a week-long residency for all fifth graders. This year, the students performed 101 Dalmatians. Boys and Girls Club provides after-school care free of charge for all students, including during our enrichment events and empowered learning. Yes Network provides the food during the family engagement events. Greater Minnesota is co-located in our school and provides a full-time counselor. A recent business partner is shown on the slide is Burlington. They donated $5,000 for teachers to order needed supplies. The City of Wake Park also partnered with us this year to get a beautiful new book vending machine. They also donated money for us to order books to fill the machine. United Way provides us with a 21st Century grant. This pays for our after-school enrichment. Trade Home Shoes has donated many shoes to Discovery. In addition, Tech and Apollo students are partnering with us and Boys and Girls Club. 11 students will tutor at Discovery this summer during Boys and Girls Club hours. Thank you for the privilege of getting to share some of the incredible aspects of our beautiful Discovery School. Does anyone have any questions?
Monica?
Thank you so much for all that work. That beginning video of Restore Justice, so made me tear up. It was so beautiful and so beautiful to see children learning how to be among each other.
Yeah, thank you.
The question that I had around that, what type of measurements do you have about BCIS or behavior in general, or how are you looking at those? I mean, the anecdotal that you gave us is very, very, very nice, very interesting, but I'd like to see what else you look at.
Yeah, so we can use our data from office referrals that teachers put in for support. That helps keep track of data as far as how many conflicts are happening in the school, and we can look at exactly what happened and how many people were involved. We also use data that we have at MTSS. Many of our students are coming to MTSS for academic and social emotional support. So we have a lot of data from teachers that they're keeping on individual students from their classrooms. And then this is one of our counselors, Joni. She was in the video. And she also keeps data and works with a lot of our kids, her and another counselor, Ellen. And so they keep notes and anecdotal information and data also.
And what are you seeing?
We're seeing an improvement. I mean, it's not like from night and day yet, but we're seeing a gradual increase. So at first, a few kids were really good at it. We were doing it in different areas. Last year, certain people were trained, and now we're training the whole staff and trying to use it more building-wide. So we're definitely seeing an increase across all the grade levels and being able to use those skills.
That's great. Are you seeing any translation of that improvement in behavior into learning ability of the kids?
Yes.
And how did you realize that one drives to the other, or how you made that connection?
Well, and I don't think it's just that. So we're doing, like as I said in the video, we're doing the breathing in the morning. That's something new too. A lot of our students come in and they can be dysregulated getting off the bus. So one of our new things this year was, instead of breathing just in Miss Joni's room or in certain places in the building, let's all start and do it together. And then the safe space is set up with our conscious discipline protocols in the community building in the morning meetings. I think it all kind of comes together. It all supports each other.
I love that breathing with the mandala. I think that we should all do it. Okay, everybody.
Yeah.
I love the kids with that. Thank you so much. I don't have more questions right now.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else? Natalie and then Scott.
I was looking, thank you for that presentation. I also was like, I
don't need to cry at another board meeting just because there's cute little kids on that screen. But I was already tearing up just hearing everyone talk in their home language and then translating it for us. That's just stellar. That's us. It's beautiful. I was actually going to ask about if you're seeing those restorative circles, kind of very similar to what Monica said, because I noticed in the data deck that was one of the things that kids were struggling with last year were those relationships. Is that one of the reasons why you're doing these implementations, because of that data, or what are you thinking?
Yes, yes. So we're looking at ways every year when we're doing our continuous improvement plan. Okay, where were we last year? What were our strengths? What were areas we need to improve on? And then set our new goals, and that's why, yes.
Yeah, beautiful. The thing I also wanted to point out from your data deck was your amazing access results. Holy man, that was beautiful. Just like blowing everything out, blowing the statewide results out of the water, and just, it's just beautiful to see that improvement, and then also just to know the trajectory for those kids that are accessing that wonderful teaching and learning. So thanks for all of your work.
Thank you. We have, and Joni can attest to this too, we have an amazing EL team, really strong, committed teachers who have been around a while. They've some veteran teachers. And with the co-teaching in the classrooms and then the supporting outside the classroom, they do amazing, and so proud of our kids.
Yeah, my boys went to Discovery, and now one's graduated from Apollo, and the other one's graduating this year. But I remember them coming home and being like, "Mom, I go to school with the world." I'm like, yes,
That's
you
so
do.
true.
And the way that they have, grown into young men, definitely started with those relationships and that getting to know the world right through their classroom. So Discovery is a beautiful place.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. I agree.
I was very surprised that English is almost a second language for everybody. It's over half your kids. English is a second language. Do you have a bunch of interpreters in your classes, or how do you reach them?
We don't have a lot of interpreters. Again, back to our core instruction, focusing that teaming with the EL teachers, with the classroom teachers. And we've done a lot of professional development in our building over the years on how to best support our multilingual learners. So it's been a learning process, but I think we're getting better every year. We are lucky enough to have quite a few Somali-speaking staff in our building, so that's nice. So sometimes they can help. And now we're getting more and more Spanish-speaking staff too. I'm trying to get more and more whenever I can. So that does help, but not enough to go around. So we do depend a lot on our talented teachers and just the continued learning. Yeah. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Is this do we have the Somali immersion program here? Or
Yeah.
tell me about that.
So the Somali immersion program is a little bit different than the other immersion programs in the district because instead of the 80-20 model, they're doing the 50-50 model. So we're doing half the day in Somali and half the day in English. And so to have a native Somali speaker teaching our Somali immersion class, it has been a great success. It's been a learning experience because it's the first one that exists, really, of its kind. So we're really proud of it, and I think we're getting better every day, and I think each year we're going to build on that. Yeah.
I think you've gotten some good press on it too. I think you're like the first one in the state or in the nation.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Buddy reading, I like when you get the older kids reading with the younger kids. How's that working out for you?
It's amazing. Both like it just as much. The older kids get a chance to be a role model and a mentor to someone younger, and sometimes in their classroom they might not feel like they get that chance with their peers. So I think in that situation, everybody gets to shine. And the littles, of course, are just kind of starstruck, and they're looking up to them like they're superheroes. So it helps both ways. Yeah.
On the curriculum, in in the high schools, you would get pushback from community. Do you see that at this level at all, as to what is being taught?
I really haven't had pushback, no. It's really, I feel like our community is, we've spent a lot of time and done some hard work over the past years building that community of trust. And we have a really good relationship with our families and parents. And so there's been minimal of that.
And I think family engagement helps.
Yes, you want to talk a little too?
I was going to say, I think family engagement helps a lot because that answers a lot of questions for a lot of those parents. We dealt a lot with our seesaw and all of that, and because we're asking them to go online, and how we don't ask them to do too much online. You know, we're kind of we try to limit that, so we're not always putting them in front of an iPad or a computer, and that was really informative. That was good.
I think that's about it. I thank you for your nice presentation.
Thank you.
I'm going to jump off script a little bit.
Sure.
Discovery receives some grants, correct, to become a
Correct.
community school?
Correct.
Is that still on track for next year? Is that happening?
Yes.
Can you tell me a
Yes.
little bit about what's planned?
Yes. So I've been working with Singh, and she is overseeing the process right now. We've had quite a few meetings already this year. So we've met in very large groups with a lot of our community partners. The process actually started last year, where Dr. Putnam kind of brought us all together and asked community partners how much they were willing to give, either financially or just the people power and, resources. So we have some really committed partners that we've been meeting with on a regular basis. And then we also have a smaller focus group that I'm part of now with some of the community partners to get it's hard to get a lot of traction with 50 people in the room. So kind of our focus group is thinking, okay, how is the best way to get started and get the resources we need? We're still kind of in that phase of where all the resources are going to come from, but we're getting there. We're probably going to start a little smaller next year and then add gradually. So we probably won't start with everything at once. We're going to have to decide what our priorities are, and that's still being discussed.
What services do we anticipate starting with?
We've had a whole bunch thrown out there, but some of them that we've talked about are, mental health support, academic support, possibly tutoring or enrichment going on, possibly help finding jobs, getting housing, immigration questions, just kind of all the needs that surround the area of Discovery, not even just our students, but the whole community in that area of town. Yeah.
A lot of that sounds like it would be more community-centered than student-centered, or is that the gist of the whole?
Yeah, the students would still get the enrichment and the tutoring, and then Boys and Girls Club is there. That's new this year, that we have Boys and Girls Club at our site, and they're looking on expanding too, trying to raise money. So I think we're going in the right direction, and it's all supporting each other, so it is really exciting. I hope when I talk to you next year at this time that I can share some awesome things.
Is there space requirements
Yeah.
for that, and is that?
Yep. So right now, a couple of our preschool programs are relocating to other buildings to make room for a few rooms for our full-service community school partners. And it'll be, me kind of remapping the building a little bit and finding spaces for offices. And as that grows and expands, I'm sure I'll have to accommodate that. So, yeah.
Al, can we let Lori jump in here just for clarification?
Thank you. Jenny did a great job, and I just want to add a little bit to it. So the purpose is really twofold, right? And very much appreciating the board's support in this effort. It's community, so that we're in terms of family support, and then it's also focused on the child. So the services specific for the child are, as Jenny said, enrichment, tutoring, it is an arts-based focus. So we have partners from Paramount, Great Theater, and Worth, the Worth Music Center. And we know that often when students are learning English as a second, third, or fourth language, if they're struggling with math or language arts, some of the things that go first tend to be arts, which is unfortunate, and also how it is structured in our state. So we really wanted to make sure that we're providing access to art, education, and enrichment. So we have a lot of focus there. We also are offering physical wellness support. So Centric Care will be there, Children's Dental Services, vision screening, hearing screening. So really also looking at that aspect of the child. And then we know that when a family system does better, the child does better. So the family system will be supported through, as Jenny said, workforce development, job training, finance and budgeting through credit unions, Career One, Career Solutions, and then they could also access family mental health system work. And the Ellison Center is there to provide some of that. They do early childhood and young childhood mental health. So it's very much the wraparound idea.
So, Lori, with say the vision screening, for example, then if a student is found to have some issues with vision, either needing glasses or further, is it then just a referral into the medical system? And from that point on, I mean, how does a family, if we screen a child, we find out that they have issues with their vision and they need help, then where do they go from there?
That's a great question. We are hiring, it's posted now, and we're hiring 2 coordinators for each of the Discovery and North. And their job is to not only help coordinate the partnership so that Jenny and her team don't have to do all the scheduling, because certainly Central Care won't be there 5-7 days a week, right? So people will move in and out. But their job is really to act as case management, so that if a family is, say, a child says, oh, we need glasses, their job is to then partner with Centric Care to make sure they get that vision, right? We have enough folks who are there to provide that full service that then they can make sure that, to the extent they can, right, remove barriers, transportation, funding. And so there is another subgroup that's running. It's around fiscal sustainability. So we have a 5-year grant, and they're looking at how do we make sure that the work that's being done carries into the future? And then how do we have funds? What grants are out there to make sure that if a child needs dental work, right, and it exceeds what our partners are able to give us, that we're able to provide those supports. Interesting, I just have to say this as a little bit of an aside. I was just reading an article from Hopkins University from 2021 that showed they did a whole year-long study in Baltimore that where they screened every child, largely, right, poor, often students of color, and their test scores went up a significant amount because the barrier wasn't that the kids are able to learn, right? We all know that. The barrier was that they couldn't see and they didn't have access to be able to get that resource. So this is one way that we're going to be able to actually do that for our kids.
That's it.
So I forgot to ask you, I had a note here, for the Somali Immersion Program. So we started that last year, right?
Correct.
So what can you tell us about the program? What are you seeing? What are you seeing things that you didn't expect to see? What has been tell me a little bit more about how has it been since we started the program?
Yeah, well, we don't have a lot of data yet. So, coming fall to spring, and we do have assessments that are given in Somali and English. So that is something different than the other classes. We've seen a lot of community pride. The kids are so excited to learn songs and different things that they may not know of even at home. And the parents are so excited to be able to talk about these things with their students, to tell stories, to join in the songs that they've heard before. And so been really nice to see them come together. It's been really positive feedback.
So I will be anticipating that there is general pride in the family, and the program right now is with kindergartens, right?
Correct.
So is that anything that you can see in the older kids, siblings, and other kids that didn't have the opportunity? That are they? So one of the things that I'm wondering about is that when immigrant kids grow up here, they do grow shameful of their own language. So that, have you seen any change in the older ones? Because now is like being something cool that they actually have another language, or does that affect behavior?
I would say that it does support behavior. I mean, it's like I said, because it's so new, it's hard to have a lot of data on that yet. But it definitely, we don't have a lot of behavioral referrals from that classroom. They're definitely involved and engaged and proud, like I said. At Discovery, I don't see yet that piece of shame, really, from, I think, because it's partly still elementary and there are so many cultures and languages being spoken. But I know that happens as they get older. I know that's a reality. So that is one hope of this program, is to build that confidence and be proud of who they are. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Thank you very much. Tammy DeLand isn't here, but just making sure that your wonderful video is on our YouTube channel. Okay, because it was a tearjerker over here too, so thank you. Okay, we have one more information item tonight. We have the graduation and celebratory events and plans. Welcome Apollo Principal Justin Scalrud and Tech Principal Molly Kenzie.
Good evening, Board Chair Haas, Dr. Putnam, members of the board. Principal Kenzie is going to get us logged in here and we'll get started.
Good evening. Thanks for having us. We are excited to share our spring celebrations that kick off really soon. I can't believe we have made it to May, or end of April, almost May. It's rolling really quickly through the school year. So our goal tonight is just to share the upcoming events, and our goal for our celebrations is really to recognize and honor and showcase our students and their families and staff, and really we hope to create celebrations that meet their desires and dreams.
Throughout the presentation, you'll see a theme that I'll be talking about what's happening at Apollo, and Principal Kenzie, what's happening at Tech. And then also with our McKinley students, there's some things that are specific to McKinley. And then also, we always want to invite our McKinley students, where we are their home schools, to come back and to be part of all the things that are happening as well, and to be able to recognize them. And as they, we all culminate with graduation, and for our seniors to be a part of that with their classmates.
And then we are sharing all of this information around spring celebrations in multiple different modalities. So through social media, websites, individual building websites, parent meetings, senior meetings. Did I miss any avenues? We're working through all of that to make sure that people are getting the information soon. They've already gotten a couple of spring information updates, and that will continue as we get to the end of the school year. So Tech kicks off the prom season. May 4th is our prom. It's for juniors and seniors. We will host the Grand March at 7, and it rolls right into the dance portion of the evening. and then prom ends at 11. And so we do, like Mr. Skullerud said, present an opportunity for McKinley students to join, as well as outside guests. And so all students who are interested have a form to fill out, and then that works through their administrator and our administration, and then they do that prior to purchasing a ticket.
You can see the Apollo prom is 2 weeks later, and there's a reason for that. We really try to be mindful of what's happening in students' lives, and this is the heart of AP testing season. So we take a couple weeks to, know a lot of students are taking a lot of AP tests. So Tech's prom is at the very beginning, and then ours is after the AP testing window, and that's May 18th. Again, juniors and seniors, they can invite underclassmen to attend with them, and then also our McKinley students are welcome to come and bring a guest as well. Grand March starts at 7 p.m. at Apollo, and then prom will be immediately after, and as with Tech, it's ending at 11.
McKinley hosts a prom carnival, so that'll be on May 31st. It's open to all their staff and students, and it's from 1 to 3. During that time, they take it's a gathering where they celebrate their Panther community.
At Apollo, we have a tradition. We do a senior picnic, and we do it the last week of school. So this year, that will be on May 22nd. You're all welcome to come and join us if you would like to. If you can see by the pictures, we always have one guest griller, and we're always thankful for Mr. Home to come and help me grill the hot dogs on that day, and he's always been gracious to do that. And then also definitely a shout out to Sarah Model and our food service folks, because they're always really willing to help us and keep our costs down to be able to provide this opportunity for our students. So seniors enjoy time outside with their classmates. It's for seniors only. And then at the picnic, we, as an admin team and some of our support staff, are out there helping. Well, the 9th through 11th graders are eating lunch and peeking out the window, and we're telling them, you will get to do this too. Just wait your turn. And it's always something that builds up the momentum, but it's always that last couple of days, and they really appreciate time to, look at yearbooks and reminisce with their classmates.
On May 22nd, we will host our scholarship evening at both schools. So Apollo starts at 6:30 and Tech's will begin at 7, both held in our auditorium. It's a great opportunity to showcase the many students that receive the scholarships and have taken the opportunity to complete those application processes. And it really kind of kicks off the excitement of the next chapter.
We also want to recognize the adult basic education graduation, and that is the same date. So there's a little bit of conflict with dates. And as we learn, we run out of Wednesdays. That seems to be a theme as well. And we also know that we've been very thankful for rescheduling activities so far this spring. But we schedule these events on Wednesdays because it's a pretty packed schedule for a lot of our kids the rest of the week. And that is May 22nd from 6 to 7. And that will be held at Sauk Rapids Middle School this year, because Tech and Apollo are hosting those events for Scholarship Night.
So at Tech, we participate in an activity day. It'll be on May 23rd. We'll do an adjusted schedule. So the last 2 hours of our day, we get to have the seniors join in the stadium and we take a class photo. They participate in flag football, some yard games. We've had a helicopter landing, henna, and karaoke. And so you are welcome to join us and kind of wander the campus that day, because it's a lot of great events where we really get to showcase that culmination of the school year and honor those students through a variety of activities.
The last day for seniors this year will be Friday, May 24th. On that day, it is device collection day as well. So we've done this, and Principal Kenzie's worked with us at Apollo before. She was the principal at Tech doing this, so we do the system the same, and it's pretty smooth. The students come in, they return their device and any materials they have. In exchange, they get some things they really want, their cap and gown and their graduation tickets for their families. If students aren't ready to turn their device in that day, because we do have another week before graduation, they are welcome to keep that. If they've got assignments they need to do, if there's tests that need to be taken, they have that whole next week to do that, and then they just check in the office, and we have all those items for them.
Friday, May 31st is the last day of school for 9th through 11th graders, but for our 12th graders, it's their opportunity to rehearse graduation and do the walkthrough of what it will look and feel like on that day. That will be at Rivers Edge Convention Center. So Apollo kicks off the morning at 9 a.m. and then tech students go to Rivers Edge at 11:30, and we will walk through start to finish what to expect at graduation the following day.
So graduation day is June 1st at Rivers Edge. Apollo will be first this year. We rotate alternating years of who goes first and who goes second. The doors do open at 10 a.m. and Apollo's ceremony is at 11. And then ceremony 2 is tech ceremony. Doors open for that at 2:30 with the ceremony at 3:30.
The ceremony will last about an hour and 15 minutes for both schools. We get the pleasure of listening to our orchestra and choir representation during the ceremony. There will be speeches featuring senior class speakers, principal, the student-selected faculty member, and superintendent. We will also award diplomas during that time and do the final presentation of the class of 2024.
A little bit of information that has been sent out to families, but what they're receiving is there's 8 tickets per graduate, and as we mentioned, those will be distributed during device collection on the 24th. Immediately following each ceremony, families can greet their graduates outside door A, and that's where they gather and can take pictures. It's a little, as we're turning over the Civic Center to go from ceremony 1 to ceremony 2, there's a little bit of a time crunch. We try to be as efficient as we can with that, and it's worked out really well the past few years when we've done it. Each ceremony is also live streamed for those who cannot attend in person, and then there is no re-entry during the ceremony if you leave the building.
And then we have this opportunity for our Indigenous graduates to be honored. It is a culmination of a couple of different schools. So Sartell, our school, SCTCC will be there, St. John's Prep, as well as St. Cloud State. And so this will be on April 24th from 5 to 7. It's really an event that they have created to set up in a powwow-like community event where our students then get to see what's next for them. They get to see those next opportunities and build a network and make some connections for those families as well. And that is all we have for you around our spring events. Any questions for us?
Thanks. Any questions at all? Scott?
11:30.
Thank you for including everything in there. Appreciate that. Anybody else? All right. Thank you.
Can I just say just one quick thing?
Yep.
Shout out to you and your teams, Principal Kinsey, Principal Scholarud. They have APs that work to put this together. I don't know if you've organized a big event, but when you put it in a combination, and when I start in September and I started school and how I wrap up the year and we celebrate, these are great times and memories and experiences for our students. So thank you all and your teams.
Thank you. Okay, then we're moving on to our one action item tonight. We have the resolution proposing named staff for non-renewal or placement on unrequested leave of absence presented tonight by Tracy Flinbeau, Executive Director of Human Resources and Labor Relations.
Good evening, Chair Hawes, board members, Superintendent Putnam. We've just completed our annual staffing process for the 24-25 school year. That, as we've talked about previously, begins in January, and it's a huge undertaking for all of our district leaders. All of our principals, directors, exec directors, the assistant superintendents, and the superintendent participate in that process. And that culminated this week with approximately 900 staff having a meeting with their principal, supervisor, or director, and being notified about what their assignment will be for next year. All of that has gone relatively smoothly, just trying to do all of that work this week. But tonight's business is to bring forward the resolution for non-renewal of probationary staff who do not have an assignment for next year. all of these teachers, the 900 or so that got notices this week, and those that are on this non-renewal list are all valued members of our staff. And I want to thank all of them for their service this year. But for the ones that are on the resolution tonight, they have been notified and have an assignment for next year. And the board's action tonight will be to formally non-renew those teachers, and they'll be given a formal notice tomorrow morning, and they will be encouraged to continue to apply for open positions as the rest of the staffing season continues on into the summer until fall. So with that information, I'm requesting that the board entertain the motion to approve the resolution for the non-renewal of probationary teachers.
So I'd like to move to approve the resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of named probationary teachers. Do you want me to read the whole thing?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Monica and a second by Natalie. Any discussion? Zach, can you call vote?
Natalie Copeland,
Yes.
Scott Andresen,
Yes.
Heather Weems,
Yes.
Monica Segura Schwartz,
Yes.
Shannon Haas,
Yes.
Zach Dorholz, yes. Al Dahlgren.
Yes.
We're making great time, kind of exciting. Okay, we're moving on to a discussion item. We have the APAC Board Response Letter being presented tonight by Ayan Omar, Equity Services Director, and Donna Roper, Executive Director of Research, Enrollment, and Assessments.
Never touched it. Okay. Good evening, Chair Haas, Superintendent Putnam, and members of the school board. Since our February 21st, 2024 American Indian Education Update, followed by APAC's vote of non-concurrence and presentation of resolution, the school board is given 60 days in which to respond in writing to APAC's recommendation. The board response must be signed by the entire school board and be provided to APAC and submitted to MDE, Office of American Indian Education. As stated in the attached response letter, the school board values its relationship with APAC and thanks the members of APAC for their collaborative input and continuous partnership in meeting our common goal of increased academic achievement and attendance for American Indian students, improved access to American Indian education for all students and staff, and increased support for the unique needs of our American Indian students. Thank you for your diligence, focus, and commitment to our American Indian education program.
I have the letter here for signing. Does anybody have any questions? This is just a discussion item and a letter for signature. Anybody? Al?
No, I just want to make one comment, and because sometimes the details of things matter to me. And in the piece that Ayan just read, it said that the board must sign, and I believe that the board, it's presented to the board for signature, but I do not believe that there's any requirement that any member of the board sign that. We're working together with APAC, both sides working together to further American Indian education, and I think that we do that best when one side isn't held to account for when one side isn't being required to do something. And I plan on signing it the way that the letter is written, but I do take I don't like the wording of the board is required to sign it, because I do not believe that we are required to sign anything.
I appreciate the clarification.
Okay, and is this letter going to you or Jan?
I'll take it and submit it.
Okay, we'll pass that around then. Anything else? All right, thank you. I'm gonna pass this. Then we have, the night wouldn't be complete if we didn't have some policies here. So we have, next up is a second reading for proposed revised board policy 501. It is the school weapons policy presented by Dr. Mike Rivard, Assistant Superintendent of E12 Education Services.
Good evening, Chair Haas, Dr. Putnam, and members of the board. Just so we can stay longer, I am having problems with it not coming up, so I am going to try one more time, and then if not, I'm going to conclude in a different way. So this evening, we are at our second reading on the school weapons policy. I will not be able to display it because it doesn't seem to be going up. I will just remind the school board that we did not make major changes to board policy 501. There was no feedback from our first reading from the board. The two major changes that we see from the board policy is the addition of the definition of a dangerous weapon, and that's in section under the definitions. And then the last change is the requirements from the Minnesota Department of Education that we do a notification of them annually when there is been a dangerous weapon, whether it's use or possession, that we do have to make a report under a new Minnesota statute. So forgive me, I can keep trying, or we could move on.
Does anybody have any questions? All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Moving on to reports tonight, we have Dr. Lori Putnam, Superintendent's report.
You got me all excited, Shannon, about getting up early. I totally forgot I had to speak. Thanks a lot. I just have a couple of things that I'd like to share. Tracy had shared that our license staffing process is now complete, and I made a video to send to all staff so that they could understand, to the extent any of us who don't live in this world, the budgeting and staffing process, because it does begin in January, and then it doesn't wrap up until April, and then non-licensed staffing has yet to happen. So it is a very long process. As I shared last month, we are extremely proud of the fact that we have a balanced budget, despite ESSER funds ending. I also shared with the team, with our district, that as we were right-sizing staffing to enrollment, and because of the SCEA contract, what was required to settle that, we did make some reductions of 13 FTE, though we did focus on those reductions being away from the classroom, and they were based on the priorities set by cabinet and building leadership with input from our staff. So we really focused on supporting low class sizes, mental health, safety, math, literacy, personalized learning, among a few other things. As well as early childhood, which is why I wanted to make sure I said that, consistently from the listening sessions and from our leadership teams and our teachers, we heard that we want to provide more resources to early childhood. So I'm very proud to share that we did add a mental health advocate that is devoted solely to our littlest learners. We added a preschool teacher, so we'll be able to take students off the 3s and 4s wait list. And then we also added an administrative dean to provide some overall support, because it is outside of the high schools and south, it is the largest school in our district. So to have one person trying to do all that work really just is not reasonable. So we did add an administrative dean, and we're really excited about that. And aside from that celebration, the other celebration, we even brought visual aids. Our communications team has started Coffee Cast, which is our new district podcast. It's delivered the second and fourth Tuesday of every month on your favorite streaming platform. It is your ultimate destination for insightful conversations, thought-provoking ideas, innovative strategies, and fascinating personalities coming from our St. Cloud Area School District. We recently interviewed students from the Tech Morning Show. Two of the three, we had three nominees who were nominated for Minnesota Teacher of the Year, Devin Bowker and Jean Voigt. I'm sure Angie House is on the list, and media specialist Holly Nelson. And we want to make sure you each have a mug so that you don't forget to listen to the show.
How do we view that?
It is available on streaming platforms, so on the podcast platforms, Spotify.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
I got it.
Thanks.
All right, thanks. Thank you. Yep. Yes, I saw that. Don't put it in your dishwasher. Yeah. Okay, then we have the Board of Education Standing Committee reports. I believe we have two for tonight. We have Chair Natalie Copeland for the Achievement, Integration, and Equity Committee.
Thank you, Chair Hawes. We met this morning. We briefly talked about our Fine Arts and Walker West board presentation. That'll be happening in May. Just discussed what we would like to know. And then continued our robust discussion of Portrait of a Graduate, a portrait of a 742 graduate. And we planned how to bring in staff, student, and community voice in the next steps of this project. And our next meeting is on May 15th.
Thank you. And then Chair Al Dahlgren, Board Finance and Audit Committee.
Yes, Finance and Audit Committee met last Friday, April 12th at 1 p.m. First item on the agenda was a discussion about our May and June meetings. And we're adding a meeting in June, or it's in late May, I believe. A special committee meeting is scheduled for May 31st to review the 2024-2025 budget. We also need to add a regular June meeting, which was not originally scheduled, to discuss the potential future of a referendum for Apollo. The committee discussed and agreed on meeting Tuesday, June 11th from 2:30 to 4:30. So in June, we're having a May 31st meeting and a June 11th meeting. Second item on the agenda was Carl Kane, who's been on our community member for the Finance Committee for several years now, had to leave due to work commitments. And so we have to bring someone else in as a community member on the Finance Committee. And Lori proposed inviting Brian Myers to serve as the community liaison person on the committee. The committee agreed that Brian should be invited to be a part of the committee, and Brian has accepted to do that. So he will be coming in, I believe, for our next meeting. Budget. Might be a short timer. One and done. Those can get kind of long. Apollo bus chute change order was the next item on the agenda. Gary presented information. So if you remember earlier when we were allocating money for Apollo, one of the things that was on there was to repave the Apollo bus chute. And we got into discussions in Finance Committee whether or not with the proposed possible referendum, whether or not we wanted to look at whether the bus chute was going to be there for a number of years or if it was just going to be a real short-term thing and we'd be tearing it out right away. So we pulled that back and passed the Apollo piece without the bus chute being a part of the parking lot improvements. So Gary presented information about the current configuration of the bus chute at Apollo. The committee had previously discussed that in an earlier referendum, there were plans to have the bus chute behind the building. And I found that information after a deep search of the internet, and it actually was proposed to be on the backside of the building. And then there was other stuff proposed to be on the backside of the building also, like parking lots between the stadium and the school, which is also kind of it was not a bad idea actually to move all of the stadium parking back in there. But I don't know, it'll probably stay the way that it is with softball fields back in there. The committee had previously discussed that there were plans to move the bus chute to the back of the building, so We wanted to make sure that plans for a future referendum wouldn't relocate the bus chute from the current location before moving forward with repaving this summer. Previously, there were thoughts that we couldn't go through the back of the building due to utility or sewer lines. Right now, we can't see there being an issue with utility lines that would prevent this. However, there are other reasons we would not want to move the bus drop-off to the back, mainly with exiting and entering. It becomes a very complicated piece, and there's a lot of other moving pieces that would have to happen in order to make room. So the primary reasons are for traffic flow coming in and off 44th Avenue, as well as concerns about student supervision with students entering and exiting from opposite sides of the building. So the administration is recommending that the bus chute stay in its current location. So the committee agreed and is comfortable moving forward with repaving this summer. However, we didn't want to make it simple. So there was discussion about whether we could widen portions of it to allow buses to park at an angle similar to how the bus chute at Apollo or at Tech is configured and set up, and also make visitor parking more convenient. District staff will meet with the engineers to discuss options and then get pricing and bring a change order to the board at a future meeting. And that was the end of our Finance Committee meeting.
Okay, thank you. Agenda items, May board meeting and work session topics will include community education and adult basic education update, Walker West Music Partnership update, schools update, and policy readings. At this time, does any board member wish to suggest a future agenda item? Okay, looking for a motion to adjourn tonight's board meeting. And do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Scott, a second by Al. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Well, meeting is adjourned at a very impressive 7:42 p.m. Thank you for watching. Yes, isn't that? Oh, it is. Have a good night. We'll be back May 1st. That's like an April record. Then we'll sleep here. Your expectations.